Yo, Hegassen here, and there is no One Piece chapter this week. So, I thought I'd look at something that I've wanted to look at for a long time and do a little review of it. Something that is going to be very relevant now, especially because we're in Wano, and we're definitely going to get a lot more information on this character, Ryuma. So I thought I'd actually have a look at the original, the canonically and chronologically first ever One Piece chapter, Monsters. Now, it wasn't originally a One Piece chapter. It was originally just a one-shot done by Oda before he went and did One Piece and Romance Dawn. But later, in the Thriller Bark arc, we meet Ryuma, and so that brings this story into the One Piece universe. And it's in this story where we actually see Ryuma slay the dragon that he's so famous for doing. So let's talk about it. Let's go through it, and I'll run through the story. It's just one chapter, so it's not the entire life of Ryuma. It's just one little story from Ryuma's life. And it starts off with Ryuma, and he's obviously outside of Wano because the town he's in, it's got like Western vibes. Nobody in the town looks like they are from Wano. So he's obviously out, he's travelling the world, which is a nice little bit of insight in its own for the One Piece canon. But Ryuma's out and he's exploring the world. He's still quite young and he very, very much looks like Zoro. Literally looks like Zoro. You can see that Oda really liked this character design and then brought it into One Piece as Zoro. And then later on, Ryuma actually became part of One Piece. And we're all putting it together, aren't we, that Ryuma and Zoro are potentially related, and you can definitely see that here. Even his character, we'll get into that a little bit later on, but even his character's got some very Zoro vibes in it. But Ryuma, he's walking through this town, he's hungry, and he ends up getting some food from this woman called Flare, who helps him out, and there we meet the person who saved Flare's life, because Flare survived this incident with a dragon a few years ago, and the person who saved her life is this other swordsman who's got very much Mihawk vibes going on, and his name is Shirano. And we find out that he saved her from this village that was destroyed. She was the only survivor, and the village was destroyed by a dragon. And at the beginning of the story, we find out that dragons are terrorizing this land, or at least this like little area of land. There was this thing called the Dragon Horn, which is this magical horn. You blow it and dragons turn up. It lets you control dragons. It's not explained how, but in a One Piece setting, you got to think maybe that horn has been infused with a devil fruit or something. Not sure what kind of devil fruit, but some kind of devil fruit that lets you control creatures and specifically dragons. Maybe. Just a little bit of headcanon. It's not explained here, but if it is a One Piece context, that would probably explain why this horn has magical powers. But we find out about that horn that he saved the girl, and during that little meeting, him and Ryuma, they clash sword sheaths. And this is where we start to see the fact that Ryuma, he's very much a samurai, very much a swordsman who values the honours and traditions of a swordsman, and he challenges Shirano to a duel, and Shirano wins. Kind of. Like, it's not really a conclusive fight, but Shirano states that he wins and walks off, but we get a little hint here as to Ryuma's strength, because it makes him look weak, the fact that he lost. But during that fight, he completely cuts a copper statue in half, and people even comment, there's this guy behind the bar that looks like Kabuto from Naruto, and he's like, oh, I didn't know anyone could cut a copper statue before. So he did that with relative ease with what I'm assuming is Shusui. It's never stated here what the name of his sword is, but I'm going to assume it's Shusui. He cuts it clean in half, so we get our first hint there as Ryuma's power. He's been coming off as a little bit of a goofball in the first part of this chapter, but yeah, we get a little hint here. We then go outside and we meet a new character called DR, who's very much a One Piece character. He looks like he's come straight out of like Barrack Works or early East Blue Saga. He's got DR written on his face. Very much looks like a One Piece character. You could easily put him in any other arc and you wouldn't even question it. But we meet this character. He walks past Ryuma, and what do you know? They smack sheaths as well, and during their little confrontation, where Ryuma is obviously declaring another duel, it looks like Ryuma has stabbed DR, and in DR's final moments of life, he pulls out the dragon horn and he blows it and summons the dragon, which leads to the town's evacuation and everybody blaming Ryuma as well for committing murder, and people were like telling him to commit harakiri and stuff like that, and the town gets evacuated apart from Flare because she's depressed at the fact that this is the second town she's been in where a dragon has turned up, and Ryuma doesn't flee either. I guess he's scoping out the situation, or he's showing some compassion towards Flare. And there's this nice scene where Ryuma stops Flare from turning around, but she does anyway, and she turns around and she sees that DR is very much alive, and working with Shirano. And what do you know? They're just bandits. They're petty bandits. They use the dragon horn, which they stole, to summon dragons to town, steal all of their treasure and money and everything, all of their valuables, destroy the town, then get out of there. And that's their little scheme. And it's revealed here that this guy who was being hallmarked as a hero was a bad guy all along. You could see it coming. It's that classic trope. But Ryuma, seeing that Flare is crying, does the Zoro thing. Like every good protagonist, goes in there and we see his true strength. He cuts down Shirano in one hit. He cuts down DR, who was fodder anyway, in one hit. The dragon comes flying in and he cuts that down in one hit. Slices its head off, very much like how Zoro sliced that dragon in Thriller Bark. Again, not Thriller Bark, Punk Hazard. Damn it! Again, throwing in them similarities between Zoro and Ryuma. Obviously a very conscious decision by Oda to make them two panels look very similar. The dragon itself, it looks really cool. It's probably the character in this, or the thing in this, that is the most different from the One Piece style. You can see elements in the face that kind of look like that Punk Hazard dragon, the red one. But its body and its overall how it moves and how it looks, it's a lot more realistic. There's a lot more kind of tissue folds and muscle and skeletal structure that we don't always get in Oda's work, so that definitely looks the most un-One Piece out of all of this. And after the dragon slayed, it was revealed how strong Ryuma actually is. And why did he do it? Well, he just did it because he saw that Flare was upset, and he says to Flare, look, I actually beat two things. I beat Shirano, I beat the dragon. You owe me a meal. And you see him walking off and he says his goodbyes. No doubt, I'm sure he'll go back there at some point. And it ends with this Kabuto guy talking about the fact, he's mentioned a few times throughout the chapter, that there was this legendary swordsman, this sword king. And it's mentioned the fact that, oh, actually, I have heard the name Ryuma. People call him the Sword King. Even though Ryuma was asking about the Sword King earlier on, he obviously didn't know who the Sword King is. But it's what people call Ryuma once he's left the town. So he's just like this wandering samurai, going about his life, you know, kind of like Luffy, just going on an adventure. He gets to towns, he saves the day, he goes off to the next place. He doesn't care about what people think of him. He's just doing it because he wants to do the right thing. You know, he's just happy to be living his life, and these stories are building up behind him. And this is where it ends, and we get a nice little bit of more information about Ryuma, a character that until previously we didn't really know much about. We only saw his corpse with Brook's shadow in it, and you know, Brook's personality was getting in there and fighting style. So this is pure Ryuma, and I'm sure that this is going to be very important going forward in Wano, because no doubt we're going to get some Ryuma flashbacks, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of this is referenced, maybe some of this even shown. I wouldn't be surprised if at a later point in life Ryuma went back to that town and maybe even got together with Flare. So if we see Flare, it's a callback to Monsters. Hey, maybe that Kabuto guy became like an apprentice or something. Who knows? But keep an eye on this because it might come back. We might even see like the dragon horn as like a little Easter egg, maybe by Roma's grave or something. But yeah, it's some good, nice insights. Simple story about a hero, and I enjoyed it. It's a good chapter. I definitely recommend it. If you haven't read it and you're a big One Piece fan, it's always good to see some of Oda's other work and his early work here. The art style, the characters, like I say, a lot of them are very, very One Piece. The dragon, not so much. But you can see that there's some very early One Piece in there. But yeah, the characters are very, very much One Piece related. DR, like I said, you could put him into any East Blue arc. Shirano giving me major Mihawk vibes. Flare, kind of looks like every other One Piece girl. I'm getting a little bit of Nami in her, a little bit of Makino. Yeah, how would I rate Monsters? I'd probably only give it a purple tier. Good story, simple story, fun, great to see Ryuma's personality. His personality is very much kind of between Luffy and Zoro. You know, he's a bit of a goofball. You know, he's quick to react, but he's also got that kind of warrior spirit that, you know, the way of the samurai, upholds these traditions and stuff, quick to get in a fight, and strong, but doesn't show off about it. So good little stuff. Hoping that we get more on Ryuma going forward. Yeah, read it in preparation of his Wano flashbacks. Hey, so thanks for watching. What did you think? Let me know about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed my video, maybe give it a like. And if you really liked it, why not subscribe? You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Twitch. Oh, and here's a related video you might enjoy, and something more fresh. I've been Hegassen, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!